The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit on a quiet Tuesday morning. Its smooth, silver surface reflected sunlight like a mirror, catching the attention of every telescope on the planet. Unlike the chaos predicted in movies, the world's governments managed to maintain order as they prepared for humanity's first contact with alien life. Tom Miller stood in front of the United Nations building, adjusting his tie for the 10th time. As Earth's chosen ambassador, he felt the weight of 7 billion lives on his shoulders. The selection committee had picked him for his calm nature and ability to think clearly under pressure, traits they hoped would serve humanity well in this historic moment. The alien delegation descended in a smaller ship, landing with impossible grace on the UN headquarters lawn. As the ship's door opened with a soft hiss, Tom took a deep breath. The aliens that emerged looked nothing like humans had imagined. Tall, slender beings with iridescent skin moved with fluid grace in what appeared to be environmental suits. "Welcome to Earth," Tom said, speaking clearly into the universal translator the aliens had provided. "We are honored to join the galactic community." The lead alien, who introduced itself as High Council Member White, tilted its head in what seemed like confusion. "Your world. It is most unusual. Our sensors must be malfunctioning." Tom frowned. "Malfunctioning? In what way?" "They suggest this planet is a Class 12 death world," White replied, consulting a holographic display that floated before its eyes. "But that cannot be correct. No sentient species could evolve in such conditions." The other council members began taking readings of their surroundings, their devices emitting soft beeping sounds. Their movements became increasingly agitated as they collected data. "The gravity here is 1.3 times higher than standard galactic norm," one alien announced, its voice filled with disbelief. "The atmospheric pressure is crushing by common standards." Another alien jumped when a distant rumble of thunder rolled across the sky. "The planet experiences regular electrical discharges in its atmosphere." "And the temperature variations," a third alien exclaimed. "This location alone experiences shifts of over 40 degrees in its annual cycle. How do you survive?" Tom tried not to smile as he realized what was happening. What humans considered normal was apparently terrifying to these advanced beings. "These conditions are quite comfortable for us," he explained. "Earth has shaped our species over millions of years." The aliens huddled together, speaking rapidly in their native tongue. When they turned back to Tom, their body language suggested a mixture of fear and fascination. "Mr. Miller," High Council Member White said formally, "we must inform you that your world presents unique challenges for galactic integration. The conditions here would be fatal to most civilized species." "Fatal?" Tom asked, genuinely surprised. "But this is a rather mild spring day." The alien's translator took a moment to process this statement, leading to another burst of concerned chatter among them. White raised a hand for silence before continuing. "Your species regularly endures conditions that would kill most galactic citizens instantly. You live alongside predatory organisms, survive regular natural disasters, and your bodies can withstand extreme temperature variations. Even your world's microorganisms are remarkably aggressive." Tom began to understand the gravity of the situation. What humans considered normal daily survival was apparently extraordinary by galactic standards. Every human child who climbed a tree, every farmer who worked under the hot sun, every person who walked through a rainstorm, they were all performing feats that would terrify most alien species. "The Council must be informed immediately," White declared. "We must debate whether it is safe to allow a species with such extreme capabilities to join the galactic community. You understand our concern, Ambassador Miller. A species that considers a death world comfortable might pose certain risks." As the aliens prepared to return to their ship, Tom noticed dark clouds gathering on the horizon. A spring storm was approaching, a normal Earth occurrence that would probably send their visitors into a panic. He couldn't help but wonder what other ordinary aspects of human life would shock these advanced beings. The first contact had revealed something unexpected. Humanity wasn't weak or primitive compared to the galactic community. They were survivors of conditions that most species considered impossible. Earth wasn't just their home, it was their proving ground, and it had made them stronger than anyone could have imagined. 2 weeks after first contact, Dr. James Green watched as the alien research team set up their equipment in Central Park. The morning joggers barely gave the strange devices a second glance. New Yorkers had quickly grown used to their extraterrestrial visitors. Master Blue, the lead alien scientist, carefully adjusted what looked like a silver telescope. "Dr. Green, we're ready to begin our assessment of human physical capabilities. Though I must admit, I'm rather nervous about conducting research in such an exposed environment." Exposed. Dr. Green looked around at the peaceful park. "It's a beautiful spring morning." "Exactly." Blue's environmental suit shimmered as he gestured at their surroundings. "You have uncontrolled wildlife, variable weather conditions, and absolutely no safety barriers against atmospheric changes. How do you remain so calm?" Before Dr. Green could answer, a group of children ran past, laughing as they chased a ball. Blue nearly jumped out of his suit. Those young ones. They're moving at dangerous velocities without protective gear. Dr. Green tried not to smile. "That's just normal play. Human children are quite resilient." The alien research team spent the morning recording ordinary human activities, their measuring devices constantly beeping and whirring. They watched in horror as people jogged, played sports, and did yoga on the grass. Each normal activity seemed to generate new concerns. "These humans are deliberately exhausting themselves for recreation," one researcher noted, watching a runner pass by. "They're intentionally stressing their cardiopulmonary systems." "Look," another called out. "That human is lifting a mass nearly half its body weight repeatedly." They were pointing at someone doing bicep curls with dumbbells. The real shock came when a street performer started his routine nearby. The man began juggling flaming torches, drawing a crowd of appreciative onlookers. The alien researchers huddled together in terror. "They're manipulating plasma for entertainment," Blue exclaimed. "Dr. Green, shouldn't we call emergency services?" "It's perfectly safe," Dr. Green assured them. "He's trained for this." "Trained? You mean humans deliberately learned to handle plasma?" The day's surprises continued as they moved their research to different locations. At the local gym, the aliens watched in disbelief as people lifted weights, practiced martial arts, and took part in high-intensity training classes. "Your species voluntarily subjects itself to physical stress," Blue noted, his voice filled with wonder. "You actually become stronger through controlled damage to your muscle tissue. It's fascinating and terrifying." The final shock came when they visited an extreme sports facility. As they watched people climbing walls, practicing parkour, and skateboarding, Blue's instruments nearly overloaded from constant alert signals. "Dr. Green," Blue said seriously, "I must ask, why do humans seek out such dangerous activities? Our data shows that your species regularly engages in behaviors that other civilizations would consider nearly suicidal." Dr. Green thought carefully before answering. "I suppose it's because we've always had to push our limits to survive. Earth has never been gentle with us. We learned to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them." As they finished their day of research, a thunderstorm rolled in. While the alien team rushed to pack up their sensitive equipment, they watched in amazement as humans simply opened umbrellas or pulled on rain jackets, continuing their activities despite the weather. "Remarkable," Blue muttered, making final notes. "Your species doesn't just survive on this death world. You've made its challenges into opportunities for growth. Every human child is trained to handle conditions that would require emergency protocols on most civilized worlds." Looking at his new alien friend, Dr. Green realized something important. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their physical adaptations to Earth's harsh conditions. It was their ability to see challenges as chances to improve, to turn obstacles into opportunities. As the rain fell around them, Blue made one final entry in his report. Perhaps we have been wrong about what makes a world suitable for intelligent life. The humans have shown us that comfort does not necessarily lead to advancement. Sometimes, it is the struggles that make a species truly remarkable. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with tense voices. Massive screens showed images of Earth, hurricanes, volcanoes, predatory animals, and humans not just surviving but thriving in these conditions. Captain Jack Wilson stood calmly at the center of the chamber, representing Earth in what had become a heated debate about humanity's place in the galaxy. These creatures are too dangerous. The speaker was Lord Red, leader of the Bright Star Empire. His crystalline form glowed with anger as he addressed the council. They treat deadly conditions as entertainment. They deliberately seek out danger. How can we trust such beings? High Council Member White, who had led the first contact mission, raised a hand for silence. Captain Wilson, how do you respond to these concerns? Jack stepped forward, his boots echoing in the sudden quiet. Actions speak louder than words where I come from. I propose a challenge. Let's prove what humans can offer the galaxy. Lord Red's crystal structure flickered with interest. What kind of challenge? A survival contest, Jack said. Your best against ours. Different environments, different challenges. Let's show you how human abilities can help, not harm, the galaxy. The chamber erupted in discussion. After several minutes, White called for order. The council accepts this proposal. Each participating species will send a team of 5 members. The challenges will test survival skills on various worlds. Lord Red moved closer to Jack, towering over him. My people evolved in the crystal caves of our homeworld. We are perfect beings. Your soft, primitive form cannot compete. Jack just smiled. We'll see. 3 days later, the human team assembled at the starting point on a desert moon. Jack led 4 other humans, a mountain climber, a deep-sea diver, a wilderness expert, and a survival specialist. They wore simple environment suits, much lighter than the heavy protective gear of other species. The first challenge was crossing 10 miles of desert during a sandstorm. The crystal beings from Bright Star moved gracefully across the sand, their bodies glittering. Other alien teams deployed advanced shields and hover technology. The humans simply formed a line, tied themselves together with ropes, and walked steadily through the storm. Why aren't they using their technology? One alien observer asked. Because technology can fail, Jack explained through the radio. Humans learn to survive with or without it. The storm grew worse. 2 alien teams had to be rescued when their equipment malfunctioned. The crystal beings began to crack in the extreme temperature changes, but the humans kept walking, step by step, using only their basic tools and experience. At the halfway point, they found a team of small gecko-like aliens trapped in a hollow. Their equipment had failed, and the sand was slowly burying them. While other teams passed by, focused on winning, Jack's team stopped. What are you doing? Lord Red's voice crackled over the radio. This is a competition. This is survival, Jack replied, as his team worked to free the trapped aliens. And humans know the best way to survive is to help each other. It took them precious time to rescue the gecko team, but the humans didn't hesitate. They shared their water, helped repair broken equipment, and made sure the rescued team could continue safely. When they finally reached the finish line, they weren't first. The crystal beings had won, celebrating their victory with flashing lights. But the council members watching the event were more interested in how the humans had handled the crisis. They sacrificed their lead to help others, White observed. And they did it using simple tools and teamwork. Lord Red approached Jack, his crystal form dimmed with exhaustion. You could have won if you hadn't stopped. We did win, Jack replied. We just had different goals. Surviving isn't just about being first or being strongest. It's about making sure everyone makes it through. As they prepared for the next challenge, word spread through the alien teams. The humans might have come from a death world, but they didn't bring death with them. They brought something else, the ability to face any challenge, and the wisdom to know that survival works better when people work together. The second challenge took place on an ice planet, where temperatures dropped to levels that would freeze human blood. The third was in a thick jungle world with poisonous plants and deadly insects. By the fourth challenge, an underwater city with crushing pressures, half the competing teams had withdrawn. Captain Jack Wilson's team gathered in their prep room before the fifth challenge. Their simple environmental suits showed signs of wear, patched with spare parts and emergency repairs. Unlike the pristine technology of other species, human equipment looked rough but reliable. The crystal beings are sabotaging other teams, Lisa, the deep-sea expert, reported. 3 more teams dropped out after their gear mysteriously failed. Jack nodded, checking his oxygen meter. They're getting desperate. We're the only ones left who can match their scores. The fifth challenge location made even the humans pause. A volcanic moon with rivers of lava and toxic gas vents. Through their observation window, they watched Lord Red's crystal team glide effortlessly across the burning landscape, their crystalline bodies immune to the heat. This is beyond our safety limits, Mark, the survival specialist, noted. Even our suits can't handle direct contact with lava. Jack smiled. Then we don't make contact. Remember mountain climbing back home. Same principle. Find another way. The challenge began. The crystal beings moved fast, using their natural heat resistance to cross lava flows directly. Other surviving teams deployed expensive force fields and hover platforms. The human team did something unexpected. They went underground. What are they doing? Lord Red demanded, watching through monitoring screens. There's nothing in the rules about tunneling. There's nothing against it either, High Council Member White replied, intrigued. Using tools they'd carried since the first challenge, the humans dug into the cooler rock beneath the surface. They moved slowly but steadily, using their earth-learned mining and caving techniques to create safe passages under the most dangerous areas. Primitive. Lord Red scoffed. They're behaving like burrowing animals. But his mockery turned to concern as the human strategy proved effective. While other teams struggled with equipment failures in the intense heat above, the humans made steady progress below. They emerged occasionally to check their position, then disappeared back into their tunnels. Halfway through the course, disaster struck. A massive eruption shook the moon's surface. 2 alien teams lost their protective fields. The crystal beings, supposedly immune to heat, began to crack under the extreme temperatures. Jack's team heard the emergency calls. They were currently safe in their tunnel network, but the sounds of panic above made them stop. We can't leave them up there, Lisa said. It'll cost us our lead again, Mark warned. Jack was already turning back. Some things are more important than winning. The humans emerged from their tunnels and began a rescue operation. They used their underground routes to help other teams reach safety. When they found Lord Red's team, the crystal beings were developing deep fractures from heat stress. Why are you helping us? Lord Red asked as Jack's team rigged a cooling system from spare parts. We tried to sabotage you. Because that's what humans do, Jack replied, wrapping insulation around a particularly bad crack in Lord Red's surface. We survived Earth by helping each other. No one gets left behind. The challenge was officially suspended due to the eruption, but it had revealed something important. The humans hadn't just survived. They had found a creative solution, then used it to help others survive too. Their primitive tunneling had created the only safe passages on the volatile surface. In the aftermath, Lord Red approached Jack's team. The crystal being's surface had been permanently marked by heat fractures, but something in his attitude had changed. Your ways are strange to us, he admitted. You use simple tools, you dig in dirt, you risk yourselves for others. But perhaps there is wisdom in surviving as you do. Jack offered him a bottle of water. Earth taught us that the strongest survivor isn't the one who lives alone, but the one who helps others live too. The next day, 3 more teams withdrew from the competition. But this time, they asked to stay and learn from the humans instead. The DEATHWORLD survivors were becoming teachers, showing the galaxy a different kind of strength. The testing station hung in space like a silver snowflake, its 6 massive arms extending from a central hub. Each arm contained different environment chambers for the survival challenges. After the volcanic moon incident, only 4 teams remained in the competition, but dozens of alien species had stayed to study human survival techniques. Captain Jack Wilson was teaching a group of gecko aliens how to tie rescue knots when the first alarm sounded. The station shuddered, lights flickering ominously. Micrometeoroid impact detected, the station's AI announced. Warning: reactor containment system damage. Station power at 70% and falling. Jack grabbed his emergency kit, a habit from Earth that had saved lives before. Everyone stay calm. Follow the emergency procedures we practiced. But the alien species weren't used to real emergencies. Most of their worlds were peaceful, controlled environments. As multiple alarms blared and the station's gravity began to fail, panic spread quickly. The reactor's going critical. A technician shouted over the general comm. Standard containment procedures aren't working. Through the observation windows, Jack saw the problem. The meteor had hit one of the coolant lines. Without cooling, the reactor would melt down within an hour. The station's emergency systems were designed for perfect conditions. They couldn't handle multiple failures at once. "This is just like the power plant back home," Lisa said, floating up beside Jack. "Remember the earthquake that knocked out the cooling systems?" Jack nodded. On Earth, they dealt with cascading disasters regularly. What looked like chaos to the aliens was a familiar challenge to humans. "Lord Red," Jack called over the comm. "Your crystal people can handle radiation, right?" "Yes, but the heat." "We'll handle the heat. Mark, get those cooling packs from our volcanic gear." "Lisa, we need to rig a manual cooling system." The human team moved with practiced efficiency. While other species fled toward escape pods, they pushed through the growing heat and radiation toward the reactor core. They had trained for emergencies like this on Earth, where nuclear plants had to withstand earthquakes, tsunamis, and storms. The station's gravity failed completely. Warning lights flashed red as radiation levels rose. But the humans had already adapted, using their zero-gravity training to move quickly through the corridors. "The containment chamber is breaching." Lord Red's voice crackled over the comm. His crystal team had stayed to help, their bodies providing some protection from the radiation. "We need to think like Earth creatures," Jack said to the aliens working with them. "When one solution fails, nature finds another way. The reactor needs cooling. Let's use the station's vacuum systems to create emergency heat exchange." Working together, humans and aliens turned the station's air purification system into a makeshift cooling unit. The humans' experience with jury-rigged solutions proved invaluable. When standard tools failed, they used simple mechanical backups. Tricks learned from Earth's worst disasters. Reactor temperature dropping, the AI announced after 30 tense minutes. Containment stabilizing. But they weren't done. The station had suffered serious damage. Life support was failing in 2 arms, and structural integrity was compromised in several sections. The humans organized rescue teams, teaching aliens on the spot how to handle emergency repairs and evacuations. "I don't understand," a young alien engineer said as they sealed a hull breach. "How do you know what to do?" "On Earth, something's always trying to kill you," Mark explained, showing them how to patch the hole. "You either learn to handle it, or you don't survive." Hours later, as emergency ships arrived from nearby worlds, the station was battered but intact. Not a single life had been lost. The aliens watched in amazement as the entire human team began helping with repairs, still teaching others even after the crisis. High Council Member White gathered all species present for an announcement. "Today we witnessed why humans are not just survivors, but essential allies. Their DEATHWORLD experience just saved this station and everyone aboard it." Lord Red, his crystal form still glowing from radiation exposure, added, "They turned our emergency into a lesson. Perhaps we are the primitive ones, hiding from danger instead of learning to face it. The crisis had proven something important. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their strength or resilience. It was their ability to teach others how to survive. The Galactic Council chamber looked different now. Where there had once been empty seats separating species, aliens of all kinds sat mixed together, many wearing simple safety gear designed by humans. The recent station crisis had changed more than just safety protocols. Captain Jack Wilson stood before the council again, but this time Lord Red stood beside him as an ally. The crystal being's surface still showed marks from their shared rescue effort, each crack a reminder of lessons learned. The survival challenges have shown us something unexpected, High Council Member White announced. We feared Earth's harsh conditions had created a dangerous species. Instead, they created something we desperately needed: teachers. The massive screens around them displayed scenes from the past few weeks. Humans teaching gecko aliens how to secure emergency shelters. Lisa showing aquatic species how to handle equipment failures underwater. Mark training crystal beings in basic repair techniques that didn't require complex technology. Our civilizations advanced by making our world safer, White continued. We eliminated threats, controlled our environments, and relied on technology. But the humans took a different path. Lord Red stepped forward, his crystalline form catching the light. They embraced their world's challenges. Each disaster taught them something new. Each threat made them more adaptable. We called Earth a death world, but it was actually the greatest training ground in the galaxy. The council members murmured in agreement. The station crisis had proven that safe worlds hadn't prepared most species for real emergencies. When complex systems failed, only the humans had known what to do. We've analyzed Earth's history, another council member added. Their planet has faced countless disasters. Ice ages, volcanic winters, meteor impacts. Instead of dying out, humans got stronger. They learned from each challenge. Jack walked to a display showing Earth. Our world taught us important lessons. We learned that technology can fail, so you need backup plans. We learned that environments can change suddenly, so you must be ready to adapt. Most importantly, we learned that the best way to survive is to help others survive too. The screen showed new images: human emergency workers rescuing people from floods and fires, climbers helping others on mountain peaks, divers pulling people from stormy seas. Each scene showed humans risking themselves to help others. Your species runs toward danger when others run away, Lord Red observed. We thought this was primitive instinct. Now we understand it is wisdom born from experience. White raised a hand for attention. The council has reached a decision. Earth's classification will be changed. It is not a threat to the galaxy. It is an asset, a training ground for survival skills that our civilizations have forgotten. Furthermore, they continued, we request that humanity establish training programs for other species. Teach us how to survive without relying solely on technology. Show us how to face challenges instead of hiding from them. Jack smiled. We'd be honored, but you should know, our training methods can seem harsh to other species. Good, Lord Red said firmly. We've been safe too long. The galaxy is not always kind. We need to learn what your death world taught you. The council chamber filled with approving sounds from different species. The gecko aliens waved their newly calloused hands, proud of their toughened skin. Aquatic species displayed the simple but effective tools humans had taught them to use. Even the crystal beings had started carrying basic survival kits designed by humans. There's an old saying on Earth, Jack told them. Smooth seas don't make skilled sailors. Our rough world made us strong, but strength means nothing if you don't use it to help others. As the council session ended, White made one final announcement. Let it be known across the galaxy. Earth is no longer classified as a death world. It is now designated as the galaxy's first survival academy. May we all learn from its lessons. The humans had done more than prove their worth. They had shown the galaxy a new way to view challenges, not as threats to be avoided, but as opportunities to grow stronger together. 1 year after the station crisis, Earth had changed. Alien ships of all shapes and sizes filled the skies, carrying species from across the galaxy. They didn't come to study humans anymore. They came to learn from them. Captain Jack Wilson, now Director of Interstellar Training, stood at the base of Mount Everest. Beside him, a group of crystal beings prepared for their first mountain climbing lesson. Lord Red, wearing human-designed safety gear, checked his equipment. "Are you sure this is necessary?" Lord Red asked, looking up at the snow-covered peak. "The thin air and cold temperatures seem unnecessarily harsh." Jack adjusted his friend's harness. "That's exactly why we're here. The mountain teaches you to respect nature, plan carefully, and rely on your team. These are lessons you can't learn in a simulator." Across Earth, similar scenes played out. In the Australian outback, Lisa taught desert survival to gecko aliens who had never experienced weather changes. Their once soft scales had grown tough, their bodies adapting just as humans had. At the deep-sea training facility in the Pacific, Mark worked with aquatic species, teaching them to handle dangerous currents and pressure changes. Even creatures born to water were learning new ways to survive from human instructors. "Your world is remarkable," a council observer told Jack as they watched the training. "Every environment is a classroom. Every challenge is a lesson." The changes weren't just on Earth. Human survival techniques had spread throughout the galaxy. Space stations now had simple mechanical backups for their complex systems. Alien ships carried basic toolkits alongside their advanced technology. Species that once relied solely on computers now learned to trust their instincts and physical abilities. In orbit, the massive Galactic Training Center neared completion. Its design combined advanced alien technology with practical human safety features. Each section simulated different Earth environments, from Arctic tundra to tropical storms. "We've received training requests from 50 new species this month," Lisa reported during a staff meeting. "They specifically want to learn Earth survival methods." Jack smiled. "Any problems with the training?" "Only the usual," Mark replied. "They complain about the difficulty at first, then they're proud of their calluses and muscle aches. Just like we were when we first started exploring Earth's harsh places." The biggest surprise came from the medical community. Alien doctors discovered that species who trained on Earth grew stronger, healthier, and more resilient. Their bodies and minds adapted to challenges, just as humans had over millions of years. "Your death world didn't just make you stronger," Lord Red told Jack as they reached Everest's base camp. "It made you wise. You learned to respect nature's power instead of trying to control it completely." A storm was approaching the mountain. In the past, such weather would have sent alien visitors running for shelter. Now, they calmly helped each other secure equipment and prepare for the challenge ahead. "Look at them," the council observer said. "A year ago, they would have called this weather a disaster. Now they see it as a teaching opportunity." Jack watched as crystal beings and gecko aliens worked together, using techniques learned from Earth's harshest environments. Species that once feared each other now trusted their lives to shared ropes and safety gear. "That's the real lesson Earth taught us," Jack replied. "Survival isn't about being the strongest or having the best technology. It's about learning from every challenge and helping others do the same." As the storm reached the mountain, the mixed group of humans and aliens took shelter in their well-prepared camp. They shared stories and meals, each species bringing their own strength to the team. Earth's reputation had changed forever, from a feared death world to the galaxy's greatest teacher. The Council's annual report that year included a special note. Humanity's greatest achievement was not surviving their harsh world, but showing us that challenges make us stronger when we face them together. Earth is no longer the galaxy's death world. It is our most valuable school, and humans are our most important teachers. And so, the species that evolved on a death world became the ones who taught the galaxy not just how to survive, but how to thrive in the face of any challenge.